how he taught them how to treat each other and how to live with each other and how to be with other people, and they grasped that fully. So and then Timothy had went back to Thessalonica and came back and told Paul how they were doing, and so that's where we're at here in chapter 3. And I'll start in verse 6 here. It says, "But now then Timothy came from you unto us and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, and that you have remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, as we also to see you." So we get here and you can see exactly what it said. Everything was going good. Timothy gave a good report of them, and they were very glad that they had been there, and they were still strengthened. They were still doing good since Paul had left, and they had grown in the faith. It says here in the lesson, it says, "Through faith they had kept their confidence in God. Their trust in His presence and power had enabled them to endure persecution. And through love they comforted and encouraged each other in their trials. And hearing this news from Timothy relieved Paul's concerns that the temptations to quit, the temptations would have caused them to quit living for God." So, and that's kind of what sometimes I've heard called jailhouse confession. You ever heard of that? People be in jail and they'll say that they say they accepted Christ or whatever, and then they get preferential treatment in jail, and then as soon as they get out, they go right back to doing what they were doing. Well, maybe a little different. This was the persecution of the whole town. When we talk about Thessalonica, it was a pretty big trade town. A lot of people there. They served a lot of different pagan gods, and after Paul left, Paul was hoping that everything, just like anybody would, you would hope that would stick when they left. I'm sure every missionary that ever come in here would probably tell you the same thing. When they go to a new place, they're hoping it sticks, and they can leave and then come back later and hope everything has grown or at least stayed exactly the same so they can build on that. Well, they had seen Paul, and they had been strengthened by God through their persecution. Whatever they went through, they were strengthening each other, as it says here. They were looking after each other, helping each other out the way they should to get through the persecutions and to grow in the faith. And as they put their faith in God, God was showing them how they could continue to grow, and giving them comfort and peace in whatever they were doing, so they could continue. And it said also talking about them wanting to see Paul again and his group. So last time they were there, they had to escape at night, and the Thessalonian church helped them escape during the night because of the people in the town that was coming after Paul and his group to basically either to hurt them again, to kill them, or to run them out of town. So the Thessalonians had helped them out of town, and the lesson is saying that the people of the town may have tried to pervert that and say it in a different way to make it look like Paul and his group. Paul must have been concerned of this because he was thinking the people of the town would say, "Well, y'all had to slip them out. How can they be legit missionaries of God if you're having to sneak them out and things like that to keep them away from us?" So he was just afraid that something would be spread, some kind of false rumor or something would be spread about them to try to turn the Thessalonians, but it didn't happen, because we know, as it says there, that they would desiring to see us as we also to see you. So if any of the rumors or whatever had got started about them in that town. But also they had another example to look at of Paul. As we talked about, when he got there, he was injured from persecution, and that spoke a lot to them. And it says